do you want to have all of a grape yourself, or do you want to have a slice of a watermelon that you share with other people?
Yeah.
Which one gives you the most fruit?
Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. With me, as always, on these Wednesdays, we got Matt Jones. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing peachy keen. How about you, Todd?
Peachy keen. Ooh, I love it, man. You must have been like at the state fair or something, eating a bunch of peaches this last weekend. We actually went there. Man, it is a crowd. I forget every year how much I do not actually like the Minnesota State Fair because it's a crowd full of very, it's just like super busy all the time. And, people that are there, just pigging out, and I don't know, it's just dirty. It's fun, I guess, for not me. So did you go to the fair this year?
No, I only go like once every several years or so.
I think I should make it a point to go once every 20 yeyears. That's my new goal. And so my kids love it. And so that's why we go. My daughter really loves it. Both of them, I don't know why they really love it. And so we go every single year. We usually avoid a lot of the crowds and kind of do we have our kind of traditional things to do. Like we watch the lumberjacks and the dog show, and we go to the horses and watch, we watched bull riding and horses and stuff like that. So we usually try to get to different things like that, but we were at the Midway. And for those of you who don't know the Minnesota State Fair, the Midway is where all the rides are and all the games and stuff like that. My head was buzzing. It is so loud. There's so much flashing lights, and my brain cannot handle that. So I'm like, I just got to get out of here. Anyways, but it was good. We did that. That wasn't that great, but we spent the rest of the weekend hanging out at a buddy's lake place and just enjoying ourselves. And they got a couple of young kids, so playing together and hanging out, and that's always fun to do. So I'll take that Minnesota State Fair or whatever. I can handle it for the short day that we were there.
Very good.
So Matt, what are we going to hit on today? What are we going to talk about?
We're going to be talking about the biggest mistake that smart people make in real estate.
Okay. So the biggest mistake that smart people make in real estate. So is it buying the wrong place?
No, I mean, that's certainly a mistake, but I think, to rewind a little bit, smart people, I consider myself pretty smart, and I am definitely guilty of this mistake in, thinking that, okay, it's sort of, you kind of trick yourself into thinking like, okay, I'm smart, I can do it. I can figure all this out. And you get yourself into this situation, and it's hard to get out of, essentially, because you're like, okay, I'm stuck in this situation. I'm smart. I can work my way throughout and work beyond that. But you're just continually in this rut, and you just can't get out. And that biggest mistake I'm talking about is thinking that you can do it all yourself.
Yeah. And it's easy to make because, man, I in the same way, Matt, I feel like I'm a pretty smart guy. I feel like I've got a lot of talents, and so I can do it myself. Why not? Right. And I think there's that mentality of, well, I can do it better than anyone else. I've talked to many people, and even successful people that have decent portfolios, people that, are operating their own business, and you think, wow, that person's successful. Some of those people think they need to do it all themselves, and they've gotten their success because they've done it all themselves. Yet the reality is there's a couple things. First of all, because they've done it all themselves, they're probably miserable, or they're not enjoying life, at least to the fullest extent, because they've done it all themselves. And the other thing is they've really held themselves back from true growth. Their business maybe is not in a good place. Maybe it's even a multi-million-dollar business. And so it's impressive, but their business could have been $1 billion business had they just kind of stepped out of the way a little bit more and allowed other people to be involved in the business and hired the right people, the right minds to do some stuff for them. So it's really easy, Matt, to say, I'm going to do it myself. I can do this. It's really hard. And this is where the smart people, the truly smart people, excel, is they go, I can do this, but that's not the highest and best use of my time. So I'm going to find somebody else that's better at doing this and get them to take over, right? That's where the really successful people, that's where the really large businesses are at. They're delegating, they're finding the right people for the right job.
Oh yeah, that's like the book Who Not How. Such a great book that we talked about a while back.
Yeah.
But I think it's easy to rationalize to yourself, like, okay, I'm smart, I'm very capable, I can figure it all out. And plus, I don't want to share profits with, a bunch of unneeded employees or partners or whatever. I want all the profits myself. It was Cameron Roy, who you had on a while back, who I know as well, a great guy. He said that do you want to have all of a grape yourself, or do you want to have a slice of a watermelon that you share with other people? Which one gives you the most fruit? And obviously the slice of watermelon.
Yeah, absolutely. And once you start to delegate, once you start to really relieve some of that from your plate, you find that, in my opinion, at least in what I've experienced, is I enjoy my day more. I feel more fulfilled, and my business grows. It compounds so much quicker. So it's easy. Looking back, I look back and I go, okay, how's my business grown and evolved? And believe it or not, I started from pretty much zero, right? A lot of people don't see people's journeys. When we look at somebody that, endures capital, or my companies, we own about $500 million in real estate. We have about 5,000 units of multifamily senior housing. We have some commercial spaces. People look at that and they go, whoa, or some people probably go, well, that's not very much. But regardless, people look at that and they don't see the journey that was taken. They don't see the mistakes that were made. They don't understand how things have changed and evolved. And it's been not a get rich quick. It's not overnight. This doesn't happen just because and just off of a whim. This happens because of a lot of hard work, but also because I've learned from my mistakes and I've been able to then delegate, and I've been able to figure out that other people need to be doing certain tasks. And I still am constantly reminding myself of that lesson. And I'm still constantly looking at what I do on a day-to-day basis. I look at my schedule and I go, man, what did I really need to do that today? Like, I look at my to-do calendar. I go, really? Did I need to do these things today? Why did I do these 5 things? My goal was to take care of this one thing or these 2 things. And I spent so much time on these other things that I didn't even get to them, or I barely scratched the surface. So I look back and I go, wow, man, when I first started this business, I had to do it all. I had to do it all because I knew how to do it all. So I was flipping houses, Matt, and I was good at construction. I'm good at construction. I can tile a bathroom better than most people, better than a lot of tile guys, right? I'm good at it. It looks good when I'm done. I can bevel edges. I can do it. It can look great, right? But is that really my highest and best use of time, right? I'm really good at woodwork and trim. I can make it look beautiful. But is that really my highest and best use of time? The other thing too is I'll even get into stuff that I'm not good at, like drywall. I can hang drywall, but I can't mud and tape. sure I can, but it takes me 5 times longer than somebody that's good at it and can do it. And theirs looks better than mine. And then I'll start painting. I'm not a painter. I hate painting, but I don't want to hire that person because it costs me money. Right. And then the worst one, the worst mistake is I'm a plumber, right? And I start plumbing and I got to go to the store 27 times to finish one little piece of plumbing when I could have just hired the plumber from the first place, got them in, and they would have gotten the job done. And you devalue your time so much by doing that. I spend, 12 hours doing a plumbing project that would have taken a plumber an hour to do. I spent 12 hours. I would have paid that plumber for 1 hour to come onto the project, and I would have probably spent, let's call it $250, maybe $300 for the materials for the plumber. I spent 250, $300, but I myself spend all day doing it. I'm devaluing my time. Why am I doing that? It's because for some reason I think I should be the one doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at like, oh, do I really want to spend that $250, $300 on a plumber?
Right.
And I can do it myself. I remember when I first started, I watched all these YouTube videos about how to do all the different repairs around the house. Like,
Right.
none of it's like rocket science or science.
Right.
You can do it. I don't, I didn't have all the specialty tools, I guess, but I was like, okay, I'll see how to do this. Okay, I figure it out, and it takes me forever because it's my first time doing it, and it looks like crap. But you know, that's, I guess, my mindset at the time. Like, oh, I don't want to spend the money on a handyman or a plumber or whatever, and save myself. So I'm like stepping over dollars to pick up pennies, essentially.
Yeah. That's the perfect. Yeah, you're stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. You're just always, instead of focusing on the big picture and the growth of your company and how it's going to move forward, you're focusing on the little day-to-day tasks, and you're limping along, you're handicapping your business. That's all you're doing. It's, look, what's faster, right? What's the best way if I've got to get across the country? What's the best way to get across the country? Is it to walk? Is it to ride a bike? Is it to drive a car, or is it to fly in a plane? Like, Matt, what's the quickest way to get across the country and the most efficient?
Well, I mean, or the airplane, obviously.
Obviously, right? So let's fly the airplane across the country. But instead, we walk across, we get on our shoes, we walk out the door, and we start walking down the street. Okay. And then we forget something. So we got to go back home. We got to walk back home. We got to go get that. And then we got to hike back again. And that's what we do with our business. Well, why are we doing that? I guess that's the real question is, do you really want to achieve your goals? And if you really think about what your goals are, they're probably bigger than you swinging a hammer on a construction site, to get a flip done, or to remodel a rental apartment, or to, look, I was at a chain restaurant the other day, and the owner of the restaurant was working there. And they own a few of those restaurants. And I'm talking with this guy, and I felt bad for him because he can't find the staff. And so he's there, but is he spending the time needed to find the staff? Maybe not. We're in a very crazy labor market right now. But the point is, this guy is working on the business day to day. Is he growing his business by being there? No, he's not. Now, maybe he's just, because of the industry and where we're at, maybe that's the only way to go. But my guess is he needs to be spending more time on growing the business and less time on working on the business.
Yeah, I mean, it's a clear difference. When you get bogged down in the day-to-day operations of every little thing, like, you can't see the big picture. You can't like grow it, which is where your time is really best spent with your business. You can only do so much yourself. So if you're swinging the hammer or flipping the burgers or whatever, then that's time is keeping you from looking at, new locations for new restaurants or new deals of places to buy. When you're looking at the bigger picture, it's an obvious sort of choice. But when you're bogged down in the day-to-day operations, it's like you're like, oh, I just need to get the next dollar and save the next expense or whatever. And so you're kept from seeing the bigger picture as a result. So I'm curious, how can you break out of that?
Yeah. So here's the challenge. Here's how you break out. And I would challenge everybody to do this. And I think whether you feel like you're good at delegating or not, you should probably still do this. And so here's what I would say is grab a piece of paper, Excel document, whatever you want to do. I want you to color code things or highlight things or at least number things. But so here's what you want to do. You want to actually, what I would say is grade things. Okay, so it's A, B, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take my entire week that I worked. Okay, so I want to write down everything I did, and this is a good project to start on a Monday and end on a Friday or Saturday, whatever your work day is. Okay, so and maybe you can even do this for a couple of weeks, but I want to write down everything I did on Monday, all the details, everything I did on Tuesday, all the details, and so on. Okay. And then I want to grade those things. Okay. And let's say I absolutely loved it. I love doing it and it moved my business forward. And I feel like this is a necessary task that I need to do because I absolutely love it. And again, it moves my business forward. I'd give that a 10, right? 10 out of 10. If it's something that I enjoy and it moves my business forward, but it's not the most critical, I'd maybe give that an 8, right? If it's something that I enjoy, but it doesn't move my business forward, it's something that I probably don't need to do. I could easily hire that. I'd give that more like a 5, maybe a 6. Okay. If it's something that I hate to do, I don't really like doing it at all, and I could easily hire somebody else to do it, I'm going to give that a 1. Right. And so I'm going to continue to grade everything that I've got. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to go, okay, this is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 3, here's a 4, here's a 5, and so on. And what I want to do at the end of this, and again, this is something I would probably do week 1. So start this, right away. This is a Wednesday. So you could even start this on Wednesday, and go through and do this for a couple of weeks and track it, and then really focus on those 8s, 9s, and 10s, right? Those are the things that should stay in your calendar, and everything else should go away. And it doesn't mean they can be eliminated, right? There's still probably tasks that have to happen. And quite frankly, some of them maybe don't have to happen. Some of them you go, well, I didn't even need to do that. But take those lower scores and hire somebody, create a job description, whatever you got to do, or give those to people you already have on your staff. But those need to go away. And the 7s, 8s, 9s can stay, or better yet, just the 10s stay, right? Eventually, we want to get to just doing the 10s, just doing the things that you love to do that really, really move your business forward. Everything else gets delegated to somebody else.
That's smart. I like that.
And really think about what the vision of your company is and what are you doing this for, right? I want to be able to spend more time with my kids and my family, my wife. I love to work. I love what I do, and I don't want to just sit around and do nothing. But at the same time, my wife and I were talking just yesterday, and my son's in hockey, and I love coaching hockey, but I don't have time to coach hockey right now. And she's like, look, there's only a couple more years you're going to be able to coach hockey because the kids get too good, and it's just I'm I can maybe coach up to a certain level, but I'm not going to coach high school and beyond. So my son is in fourth grade, right? I got fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, and I can coach him maybe ninth grade, and then I'm done. So I don't have that many more years. So I'm so busy right now that I can't coach. Well, that's not what I need to be doing right now. That's not why I have my own business. So I have to look at my priorities. I have to look at my business. I have to go, what is my 1 through 6, 1 through 7 that I can give up right now, that I can start delegating to other people that are currently on my team and or hire so somebody else does. And then I can coach, right? Then I can do things I love. I don't want to tell my kids no. Well, to spending time with them.
Yeah,
I
there's
want
just
to
some
tell them
things you
no.
got to tell them no. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some things you got to tell them no. But spending quality time with my kids, that's not a negotiable, or shouldn't be a negotiable. And so you got to look at what your priorities are in life, and how is that going to affect what you do? How is that going to affect, those kind of goals and priorities? Figure that out and understand what you're doing right now, and how is it damaging that, and how is it damaging the growth of your business, right? Get out of your own way. That's the biggest thing. And I constantly struggle with that, Matt. I am always in my own way because I'm a do-it-yourself kind of guy. That's just who I am. But I've got to constantly remind myself, nope, you can't. That's not a task that you need to be doing. You need to be doing something else. You need to be growing the business. Is that truly growing the business? Because guess what? A do-it-yourselfer should be proud of growing their business to a high level. That's truly a do-it-yourselfer, right? It's not. You shouldn't be proud because you answered 110 emails today. Like, that is not something to be proud of. It's not something to be proud of, doing tasks you could have paid somebody, $15 an hour for. To me, that's actually selfish, because somebody deserves a job, that wants a job that could be getting paid $15 an hour, right? So, or $20 or $40 or whatever it is, but somebody wants that job, and they're probably better at it than you. I look at my bookkeeper, right? My bookkeeper, and she does more than just bookkeeping. She's does a lot of assistance. So she bookkeeper Amy, I hate doing the books. I'm good at it. I can do it. I know math. So I could do it, but I'm not good at it because I hate it. So every year, come Christmas time, and I've told this story before, I'd be sitting at my mother-in-law's house and be sitting at my father-in-law's house, and I'd be doing bookwork. I'd be entering in the books. I'd have stacks of papers, right? And be going through all my receipts and looking through my computer and trying to find out and organize everything and put it all together so I could have my financial reports to my accountant in time so we could do our taxes. I spent several years doing that. And I finally hired my first bookkeeper. Now I've got my current bookkeeper. But guess what? She gets paid, and I pay her well. She absolutely loves it. And it's her passion. This is what she loves to do, and she's good at it. And she gets it done, and she gets it done way faster than I would. And our books are in order and they're tight. That's what we need, right? And especially now that I've got investors, I can't have books that are just all over the place. I've got to have clean, tight books so I can show the investors what's going on. If I'm doing it myself, that's all I'm doing. And I'm sitting here trying to do books all the time. That doesn't make any sense. So, I hired my current bookkeeper slash assistant, and it's amazing. And every time I hire somebody, our business grows. Somebody asked me the other day, you've seen a lot of growth in your business over the last, a year to 2 years. And I said, yeah, because we started to hire, right? First of all, I partnered, okay, with a couple of guys, Matt and Drew, right? So I partnered and created a company. So now it's, instead of one person, it's 3 people. Okay. And then we hired Zach to do all of our underwriting, broker relations, working on these deals, finding deals. Okay. So a lot more deals are coming into the pipeline. I was underwriting deals before, and I would look at a lot of deals every year, but would I truly dig into every single deal? Absolutely not. But now we've got a guy that's what he does. And he looks at a ton of deals and communicates well with the brokers. I wouldn't communicate well with the brokers because I didn't have time to communicate well with the brokers. Right. And now we have a construction manager, and we have investor relations. And so we've got people on our team that are doing specific tasks, right? And they're doing these tasks well, and they're allowing our business to grow. Without that, I'd be in the same spot as I was 3-4 years ago, right?
Well, do you ever think about going back and doing it all yourself, all the bookkeeping and everything?
That would, no, no, never. Look, maybe one day when I'm, old and retired, and I feel like selling everything, I'll own one property and do it all myself. But that's because I'm retired and I just want a hobby. But yeah, probably not still.
Very good.
Yeah. It's just so easy to get caught up, and I could tell story after story, and I've learned so many lessons along the way. And again, I keep on making a lot of the same mistakes, but you just got to look back. You always have to look at what you've been doing. And again, this grading exercise that I challenged you to, this should be something you're doing several times a year. I would be doing this, every quarter. Grade your day every quarter and figure out what you need to get rid of. You'll be amazed at how much growth your business has if you can just grade yourself once a quarter. You'll be amazed at how much more time you find in the day. We all have the same amount of time, but for some reason, some people are so effective with their time. It feels like, or it looks like they must have, 75 hours a day. And when we all have 24, somehow, some way they've got more time. Well, it's just because they're good with their time and they're good at delegating. And so instead of having one person with a 24-hour day, they've got 5 people with a 24-hour day.
Excellent. And so I will say, like, you can do all the real estate yourself. I mean, from top
If
to
you
bottom.
want.
Yeah, it's just going to limit you on how big you can get. You can only manage so many units. You can only fix so many toilets and
Right.
work so many books yourself. So if you're happy doing that, that's fine. Do that. But if you want to grow, you've got to work with other people.
Yeah,
Gotta
absolutely.
let go.
You got to let it go. You have to let it go, and you have to trust people, and that can be a challenge, especially because you'll get burned sometimes. You just will. People are people, and some people are amazing people, but aren't very good at what they do, or have problems in their life. Some people are just not amazing people, and that they're going to cause you some problems. It is what it is. But instead of being fearful of it, you have to embrace it. You have to understand it. You have to accept the challenge, and you have to move beyond that fear of, well, what if I get a bad employee? Well, if you get a bad employee, you fire them and you move on, right? You get rid of them and you move on, and it's going to be definitely an issue. But guess what? As you grow, you hire an HR person that deals with that, and then you don't have to deal with it anymore. And then they can hire and fire and get the best quality people in your business. So you continue to grow your business to where that is now delegated out.
What a beautiful ideal. I like it.
Yeah. Well, isn't that great?
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I mean, look, just last little words. How great would it be to look at your day and go, I've got these 3 things that I'm going to be doing today that are going to really move my business forward. And that's all you have to focus on. Those 3 things. and they're going to accelerate your business. They're going to make your business that much better. And you look back at a year and you go, wow, look at what we accomplished. Instead of saying, man, I was bogged down this year. I was so busy. And look at all the gray hair I just accumulated this year.
Man, I would love some gray hair on top of my head.
Or look at all the hair I lost this year.
Yeah, there you go.
Man, I mean, look, I mean, you're going to lose the beard hair if you just, that's going to turn all gray. You never know. So, yeah, again, challenge people to do that exercise. I think it would be great. I think it's going to help you a lot. And really, we create goals every year, but a lot of people just take their goals and set them aside and don't look at them again. When was the last time you took out your goals and you read through them? Right? When was the last time you really thought about your vision and thought about what you want in your business and why you're doing this? When was the last time you really thought about that and thought, am I heading in that direction or am I going a different direction? Right? If you're not thinking about that stuff, how are you moving forward? How are you moving forward in the right way? You have to be thinking about it and you have to be looking at it.
Very good.
Cool, man. That's all I got. You got anything else?
No, that's it for today.
Awesome. Well, you have a fantastic rest of the day, Matt. Make every day a Saturday.
Hey, you too.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. Your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.